I didn't plan to record again today, but I've just finished reading Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield, and I feel the need to ramble and talk about it immediately and just spout forth these thoughts and opinions. This is not a review, it's more me rambling as I am astounded by this rather fantastic example of literature. I previously read The 13th Tale and again fanboyed a bit hard over that book. I don't know whether I think that this is better, but I do know that I enjoyed it. This book begins with a dead girl, only this girl comes back to life, and a few people lay claim to her, saying as she is related to them, be it a daughter, a granddaughter, some long lost sister, and it's all told from the omniscient narrator's perspective. As with the 13th Tale, Diane Setterfield has us captured by a different way of storytelling, and that is the form of oral storytelling, meaning that there are a lot of different people crafting this story and rewriting this story to present us with what they assume to be the facts, or twisting the facts to make a better story out of it, so that you actually don't know at the end of it whether anything is really real, but then you've just got to trust the story that you have had presented to you. And she did this with the 13th Tale by having the characters say that they always like to have a neat ending, and because of that I felt as though I can trust this writer. And so you put your faith and your trust in this writer, and then she presents you something that is completely classic in its scope, in the way that it's written, because it reminded me a lot of Victorian literature, but also it reminded me a lot of plays such as Shakespeare, and just the way all of these stories came together for the big finale. I could see this on the stage, but then I also thought that it was a great representation of classic books. I found myself reminded of Our Mutual Friend because of the river and the way that that book begins. I found myself reminded of Oliver Twist towards the end, and there were quite a few Dickens in there, if I'm being honest. With the character of the young girl who we don't actually know, I did begin to see illusions of Little Nell from the old curiosity shop in there. I really like the characters and the various stories of the people within this village, this town. I liked the mystery aspect surrounding this book because, again, I'm reminded of different books, and it was just one of those things where I ended up pulled into a book again, but I was also noticing all these links to other works of literature that I don't know whether they were intentional, I don't know whether it was just me reading too much into it, but by heck, did they work in this story. I should probably state that I actually read the majority of this today. I was only at the 120 page mark when I got up this morning, and I read the final 300 pages today. That is also because I wanted to have this book read before I went into Victober, yes. But it was actually something of the compulsive read, because I did plan on putting this book down at 12:30 in order that I might edit. I wanted to reach the 300 page mark and be done and say, you know what, I can finish this tomorrow. But no, I decided to finish this today. We are now at 2:15 and I am just sat here thinking about this book, thinking about all the different characters, how Rita, who is this midwife, becomes a central character to the story, really, and is what you would call the everyman, because she's an outsider looking in on all these different stories and piecing them together. But then you also see that she has her own connection to this girl that might only be very tentative and not really there, but it's a thread that connects them. Again, to refer to Dickens, there were some characters that did remind me of Dickensian characters in here, and yes, I'm talking about Robin, and I'm talking about Mrs Evis, and I'm talking about those people that we see come up in the book who are more disreputable than most. And I liked trying to solve the mystery myself and trying to connect all these characters and then thinking about how the characters would connect in the end. Admittedly, I might have figured that out a bit early on, but I don't think Diane Setterfield sets out to actually keep everything hidden away from the reader. I think she gives the reader the chance to actually learn all of this for themselves and then just make sure you're actually getting the gist of the story in the end. The thing is, I can't actually believe that she's done this again, and Whilst I was reading it yesterday, I ended up going and ordering Bellman and Black because I missed the read along because I couldn't get the book, and I saw that I had some points on my Waterstones card, so I used them to purchase the book, and so I'm just waiting for that now. And I won't push aside my Victober reading for that one, but I think it will be one that I get to before the end of the year because I'm honestly just superbly astounded by the breadth of this writer's work and the manner in which they're able to write good literature. Unfortunately, this is a library copy, which means I will have to go out of my way to find one for myself now. There's also senses of magic and folklore in here that really speak to me, and I like that the folklore is what builds the culture of this small village, really, and you get this impression of the people as one entity, and yet they're all individual as well, if that makes any sense. They're a community, and I like the sense of community that pervades throughout this book. And I like the sense of this river and this hint of mysticism that could be there but could not. And it really did just feel like great storytelling. That's it. It was just storytelling at its best. It was absolutely phenomenal. A brilliant, beautifully told tale that I hope more people read, and I am so glad to have finally got around to it. That is Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. If you read this book and would like to discuss it, then please feel free to do so down in the comments. I'm aware that I haven't said much about it here, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, that is all.